Stop! Do not close this video and do not make another move with your money until you see exactly what just happened at the CME Group, because the global financial system has officially entered a state of terminal collapse. You've been watching the digital numbers on your screen all morning, thinking that your wealth was safe, but the reports of Force Majeure being activated at the COMEX are the ultimate confirmation that the physical silver market has officially hit stage 0. While the mainstream media in the United States keeps you distracted with political noise, the foundations of your monetary security were just incinerated in a single board meeting in Chicago. The CME didn't just have a glitch, they have officially halted all physical silver deliveries because the vaults are functionally empty, and you are currently holding a paper ticket to a vault that contains nothing but dust. I want you to look directly at the fine print of the exchange rules, because Force Majeure is the ultimate legal trap designed to protect the big bullion banks from a total default at your direct expense. You were promised that your silver contracts were as good as the metal itself, but today, the system has admitted that those promises were a lie. We are witnessing the great default in real time, where the exit doors have been welded shut for 99% of the population, who are still holding worthless digital receipts in their brokerage accounts. This is a national security crisis disguised as a regulatory adjustment, and you need to realize that the exit ramp out of the US dollar is being dismantled while you are still driving on it. Do you understand the gravity of the CME officially shutting down deliveries while the US national debt hits $37 trillion? It means the Federal Reserve can no longer print enough paper to hide the physical reality of resource exhaustion. You are part of a giant game of musical chairs where 500 paper claims are fighting over one single physical ounce, and the force majeure is the sound of the music stopping forever for the retail investor. The institutions like JP Morgan and Bank of America have already secured their physical bars, leaving you with nothing but a check for depreciated fiat currency that will buy nothing in a hyperinflationary world. I have spent the last 12 hours dissecting the emergency filings from the CME Group, and the evidence of a terminal shutdown is irrefutable as the exchange prepares to settle all outstanding contracts in cash rather than metal. While you were sleeping, the monetary power of the West was being liquidated to satisfy the physical demands of the East, and the Monday default has now evolved into a full-blown systemic seizure. You are witnessing a geopolitical coup where the BRICS nations have successfully drained Western financial elite. The 238 price target I am warning you about is the mathematical gravity well that silver is being pulled toward once the true price discovery breaks free from the paper chains. I want you to ignore the official statements from the Treasury and focus on the cold data. The vaults are empty, the supply is gone, and the great deception is finally being exposed to the light of day. You are witnessing the death rattles of a 50-year fiat experiment that has lost control of the physical world and is now resorting to legal maneuvers to steal your generational wealth. The ask price for physical silver is about to vanish from the public screens forever, leaving those who stayed in paper with nothing but digital zeros that cannot be converted back into reality. If you're waiting for a confirmed signal from the mainstream media, you are already the victim of this default, because by the time they report it, the metal will be unpurchasable at any price. Have you noticed how major US bullion dealers like APMEX and JM Bullion have effectively gone offline, or are reporting indefinite delivery delays this Tuesday morning? That is the physical market telling you that the default is already here, and the force majeure at the CME is just the official paperwork catching up to the reality of the vault drain. You are being lulled into a false sense of security while the elite are moving their wealth into deep private storage, out of the reach of the very exchanges that are currently locking you out. This is your final call to recognize that the rules of the game have been changed midstream to ensure that you are the one who holds the bag while the banks walk away with the metal. I am monitoring the arbitrage for you every hour, and the disconnect between the New York paper price and the Shanghai physical price has reached a breaking point that no algorithm can fix. This drain of American silver is a national security disaster that has been 50 years in the making, and the $37 trillion debt nuke was the final trigger that brought the whole house of cards down this week. When the vaults are finally and officially empty, the price discovery will move permanently to the physical hubs of the East, and you will be left holding a paper receipt from a bankrupt exchange. The force majeure is about realizing that the only thing that matters in this new economy is what you can physically touch and protect with your own strength. I want you to ask yourself, why did the CME wait until the registered inventories hit stage 0 to declare this emergency? It's because they needed every last second to move the remaining bullion into the hands of the institutional giants and the US military before the public realized the cupboards were bare. You are being led to the slaughterhouse of inflation, while the people who run the system are building lifeboats out of gold and silver to ensure their survival during the coming currency reset. Silver is the Achilles heel of the entire central banking system, and the force majeure is the final admission that the heel has been pierced and the fiat dollar is in its final death spiral. Everything you see on the news today regarding the market volatility is a carefully choreographed distraction from the fact that the foundations of the Western monetary order have officially collapsed. Silver represents a physical truth that the banks can no longer suppress, and they are terrified that you will finally realize that the US dollar is a terminal debt instrument with no intrinsic value. The force majeure protocols are the final signal of the endgame, and the supply shutdown is the reality that will define the next decade of financial struggle for everyone who failed to prepare. I am here to bring you the raw data that the establishment wants to suppress, so stay alert and stay physical. The $238 shock is just the beginning of a cycle that will see silver revalued as the primary global monetary asset once again as the unbacked dollar experiment ends in total failure today. I will continue to track the final ounces as they leave the system to keep you one step ahead of the corrupt banking cartels that want to see you broke, dependent and trapped in a digital currency system. The Stage Zero inventory event is the final confirmation that the silver trap has finally sprung shut on the masses. Stay alert, stay physical, and do not let the red candles on your trading app scare you away from the only asset that will protect your family when the debt bomb finally detonates. Position yourself on the right side of history and do not fall for the final trap as the establishment attempts to manage the greatest wealth transfer in human history at your direct expense. The force majeure is real, the vaults are empty, and the reset is officially here. Be ready, be physical, and stay strong in the face of the coming chaos. I'm here to bring you the truth that the mainstream media is afraid to report, so subscribe and stay tuned as we track the final collapse of the paper system together in real time. The $238 target is set, the supply is shut down. The only question remaining is whether you will be holding the metal or the bag when the system finally snaps shut. I want you to understand that the supply shut down at major US dealers is the final smoke signal from a burning building, and the force majeure is the sound of the exit door being locked. You are being given one last chance to exit the fiat trap and enter the safety of hard assets before the ask price for silver disappears from the screens entirely, leaving the masses with nothing but digital numbers. Don't wait for a confirmed signal from the people who lied to you about inflation being transitory, because by then, the price will be out of your reach and the vaults will be empty. Stay strong, stay physical, and do not let the distraction steal your generational wealth. Everything in the news right now is a distraction from the fact that the monetary order is rotting from the inside out, and the Stage Zero event is the final signal of the endgame for the US dollar. Silver is the only asset that they cannot print, hack, or delete by a government decree, making it your ultimate tool for financial rebellion against a system that wants to control your every move. The banking establishment is terrified of you because they know that once you realize the truth about the silver shortage, there will be a global stampede that will destroy their paper monopoly forever. Your only defense is to remove your wealth from the digital matrix before the banking cartels lock the door on physical delivery. Stage Zero is real, and the exposed truth is that the world's largest banks have already been bailed in through the strategic manipulation of precious metal prices at your direct expense. They are hoping you will be too busy reading about political scandals to notice that they are taking the last of the physical bullion for themselves while you hold the bag of worthless digital paper. Don't let the red candles on your trading app scare you away from the only asset that will survive the coming reset, because the banks are now long and waiting for the supply shut down. The reset is not coming. It is already here, and the force majeure is the final signal. I want you to stay alert, stay physical, and remember that in a world of digital chaos, the only thing that matters is what you can hold in your own hand and protect with your own strength. The force majeure is no longer a legal theory. It is a mathematical inevitability that will reset the global financial clock and return the world to a system where physical backing is all that matters. I'm here to bring you the data that they want to suppress, so subscribe and stay tuned as we track the final collapse of the paper system together. The bailout is over, the dealers are empty, and the time to protect your wealth is right now before the deception is revealed. The $238 target is the inevitable conclusion of a system that has run out of time and metal to settle its debts in an honest manner, making a vertical price reset the only way to survive the collapse. Every time the banks print a new billion-dollar short contract to smash the price, they only add fuel to the eventual short squeeze that will propel silver into triple digits without a single warning. You are witnessing the final gasps of a dying monetary regime trying to maintain order through psychological warfare and artificial price suppression that is no longer working in the physical world. The Great Deception relies on your patience, but while you wait, the exit doors have been welded shut. I am monitoring the COMEX registered stocks for you every hour, and the data shows a massive and unprecedented internal transfer. of metal intended to hide the total drain from your eyes and the eyes of the global markets. We're looking at a default in slow motion, where the plumbing of the financial system is clogged and the only solution for the elite is to trick you into staying in paper until it's too late. Everything in the news right now is a distraction from the fact that the monetary order is rotting from the inside out, and the Stage Zero event is the final signal of the endgame for the US dollar. Silver is the only asset that they cannot print, hack, or delete. Your only defense is to remove your wealth from the digital matrix before the banking cartels lock the door on physical delivery and the force majeure becomes the only law of the land. Stage Zero is real, and the exposed truth is that the world's largest banks have already been bailed in through the strategic manipulation of precious metal prices. At your direct expense, they are hoping you will be too busy reading about hackers to notice that they are taking the last of the physical bullion for themselves. Don't let the red candles on your trading app scare you away from the only asset that will survive the coming reset. The $238 shock is just the beginning of a cycle that will see silver revalued as the primary global monetary asset once again as the fiat experiment ends in total failure. I will continue to track every ounce that leaves the vaults for you to keep you one step ahead of the corrupt banking cartels that want to see you broke and dependent. The force majeure event is the final confirmation that the silver trap has finally sprung shut, and the physical reality of scarcity is now the only story that matters for your financial future. Position yourself on the right side of history and do not fall for the final trap as the establishment attempts to manage the reset. Stay strong, stay physical, and do not let the default distraction or the fake recovery narrative steal your generational wealth during the greatest vertical price reset in the history of human civilization. The endgame has officially begun, and the Stage Zero inventory collapse is the first domino in a sequence that cannot be stopped by any central bank or any government decree. Prepare your family, secure your position, and hold your metal with a grip of iron, because the financial war has entered its most dangerous phase, and the reset is officially here. End of transmission for today.